Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina. Welcome to the Sunday night live stream show. Hopefully you guys are ready for a good time, a great show, and lots of information. We're excited, as always, to enjoy our Sunday night live stream show, hanging out with you guys, talking fishing, answering your questions, talking about the weather, showing you what we're catching now, and giving away free fishing trips. That's right. Every Sunday night we give away $1,500 in free trips. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Plus, to enter, all you have to do is comment once on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. You can watch on YouTube, you can watch on Instagram, you can watch on one of our other Facebook pages we're streaming to. But in order to be eligible to win some of the free trips, you do have to comment one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. Then you can watch anywhere you want and enjoy the show, but you have to watch the entire show live and you have to comment once on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. Then randomly throughout the show, we'll do those giveaways. You'll see your name appear on the screen and I will announce your name live during the show. Then you've got 5 minutes or less to text us your full home address. That's how you enter to win, that's how you claim it, and that's how it works. Want to make sure we give a shout out to our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. If you haven't stopped by our friends at Gator Jim's Tackle, you are missing out. Incredible selection, killer deals, really, really good people over there, and it's an awesome place to be. Plus, great staff members too, so stop on by Gator Jim's Tackle and tell them Hubbard's Marina sent you. Also want to make sure we give a shout out to all of those supporters who are watching our show. Supporters help us fuel the live stream show and do all the cool things that we do during Sunday night shows, so definitely appreciate all of our supporters out there. It's only $4.99 to enter the club. You get private behind-the-scenes access to our private supporters after show every Sunday night. Plus, you get more connectivity, communication, and behind-the-scenes info in that private supporters group that you have private access to as a Supporters Club member. So check it out, only $4.99 a month. Also, definitely appreciate all the star senders who help fuel the show and help us do what we do every Sunday night as well. We had Todd Stutzman, Robert Bush, Mick Higgins. We had Richard Blazak, Adam Franklin. Then we had Stephen Batchelor with the big 500 stars, Jeff Reedy with a big 1,200 stars, LaShonda Brown with the big 500, Scott Flynn with 500 as well, James McCullum with 500, Larry White with 500, and Greg DeFilippo with a big 1,000. Thank you guys so much for the stars and the fuel to do more of these live stream shows. Don't forget to tag your friends. Don't forget to like the stream or give it a thumbs up on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube as well. We had those dockside chats going on that we are posting to YouTube. We're going to be bringing those back this week, so hopefully you're subscribed. You don't want to miss out on that. We're super excited and looking forward to it as well. So hopefully you're ready for a good time tonight talking fishing. As always, we like to start out showing you photos of what we've been catching. Then we get into the weather a little bit, some announcements, and then we get into your questions. Remember, if you have a question that you want answered live during the show, text it to the phone number at the bottom of the screen. That's how we can make sure we see your question and it doesn't get lost in the litany of different comments that come through here. So make sure you text us if you have a question or a topic you want discussed during tonight's show. With that, let's get into the photos and show you guys the photos of what we've been catching. We always like to start inshore, and then we'll work our way near shore and offshore. So starting off inshore lately, we have been seeing some of these black drum as of late. Black drum have made a little bit of a comeback. We saw some around the docks, but they're catching them out there on the beaches right now. We're seeing a few of the flounder, not a ton, but a few of the flounder in the mix. Redfish action too. The redfish action was really good at the start of this past week, slacked off a little bit around that full moon or new moon Wednesday and Thursday, but picked back up for us over the weekend, or at least into the start of the weekend. And definitely looking forward to hopefully a really great bite through this weekend. We're on the backside of a new moon, coming up to a quarter moon next week, mid-work week. A lot of snook out there on the beaches. Snook fishing has been going well. Our snook guru, Scott, texted me today. He was 7 snook this morning in a short amount of time in non-optimal conditions as well. So cool to hear so many good snook being caught out there on the beaches. Plenty of snook in the back bay waters. We're still seeing some around the docks, piers, bridges, jetties as well. But a lot of these snook are hanging out there on the beach. There's our buddy Scott with a nice big old snook from the beaches. Another one. Some big trout too. The trout action has been pretty steady on those deeper flats, those edges, those potholes out on the beaches. It is a good time to get out there inshore and take advantage of the bite. The bite has been pretty good for us. The new moon incoming tide is generally best around the inshore waters. Also, dock lights, bridge lights really get concentrated around the new moon because that bait gets concentrated. Now working our way near shore and offshore, we'll show you photos of what we're catching a little bit deeper here. Definitely doing pretty well out there near shore and offshore with some Almaco jacks, some nice catch and release gags, some keeper red grouper action. Scamp grouper have been firing off, fishing a little deeper for those red snappers, helped the scamp pick up too. Catching a few hogfish, not a ton, but seeing a couple here and there for sure. Jackpots have been pretty steady. This is a photo from a couple trips ago, but the jackpot this morning, the jackpot winning red grouper was 15 pounds. Jackpot winning red snapper from the trip that got back this morning, 24 pounds. Stud of a red snapper. Beautiful. Also nice big lanes, seeing some mahi-mahi action near shore and offshore. Some bigger ones offshore. We're seeing a couple of these mutton snapper, which is always a welcome bonus while we're hunting the red snapper. There's another mutton. Hard to tell in the sunrise there, but beautiful mutton snapper caught by our friend Michelle. Nice mangrove snapper too, some big fat red groupers. And even seeing some red grouper near shore, but a lot of them offshore for sure. Fat red grouper from our buddy Ed. He did hook a wahoo, unfortunately got away, but he did have a wahoo on for a minute as well, so that's exciting. Some big fat red groupers and red snappers to go around. Pretty awesome to say the least. And fishing is going well. Red snapper season continues, remember, through end of day September 15th. So we got plenty of red snapper season left. Basically 2.5 more months of red snapper madness. If you want to come out and join us, June is really chaotic and busy. July slacks off a little bit, not so crazy busy. And then August, we've got tons of availability for you if you want to get out there and catch some of these red snapper in August. So we got a lot of time left. And as you can see, we're catching plenty of really nice fish. 12-hour extreme catching limits and some big fat red grouper. 39-hour trips doing really well out there too. Look at all these scamp grouper. Some really nice scamp caught. Big vermilion. Look at that fat vermilion snapper. Big piles of fish. It's a good time to get out there and do some catching for sure. So hopefully you'll get a chance to come out and join us as well. All right, so showed you photos of what we've been catching. Let's talk a little bit about the weather. We got our first tropical disturbance to watch out for, which is pretty interesting. Not a lot of possibility behind this tropical disturbance, but nonetheless, it's getting tropical this week. So let's talk about that. Popping over to hubbardsmarina.com, we're going to go ahead and click fishing trips and then hit weather links. We're going to scroll down under wind finder forecast to the 5 and 10 hour wind finder area. As you can tell, weather pretty good today, just a little bit rainy. Tomorrow, very similar, a little rainy, but weather pretty good overall. Tuesday, same thing, weather pretty good, rain chances there. Wednesday, weather starts to get a little bit more moderate Wednesday, late afternoon into Wednesday night. Thursday, Friday, pretty much all day rain and some pretty heavier winds they're calling for. into Saturday and Sunday, potentially calming down after the weekend. So best fishing, best weather is definitely going to be today, tomorrow, Tuesday, and then most of the day Wednesday. Picking up Wednesday night all the way through the weekend, it seems, and this is why. We're going to go back to the Weather Links page, and we're going to go to our buddy Mike's Weather Page's website, the Ultimate Storm Forecast, spaghettimodels.com, and you can see here our first blob on the old NHC graphic. 20% chance of cyclone formation over the next 7 days. Where at? Right on top of us. Very, very typical early tropical season formation. The reason why is a cold front. It's not really a cold front for us, but a frontal boundary. Let's change this to the right region. Nope, hit the wrong one. Go to regions and Western Atlantic. And then down here to precipitation and moisture, go to precip. And here is tomorrow, Monday, or I guess tonight at midnight, 0Z. This is Monday morning, Monday afternoon. Looks like it's going to be a pretty rainy day tomorrow. Tuesday, a little less overcast, a little drier for us. Wednesday, that juice starts to come down. See that line? That boundary, that frontal boundary line, I clicked it. So this frontal boundary line starts to extend down Wednesday. This is Wednesday morning. Wednesday midday kind of stalls out on us, and then it hangs out there. It doesn't move. This blob, this cold front boundary line extended into the warm Gulf of Mexico and then doesn't go anywhere. So it's not going to be a cold front. It's not going to get cold. It's really not even going to get less humid for us, because it doesn't make it down, but it stalls, and that tail hangs out, doesn't go anywhere. And you can see Thursday, it's just sitting there pumping tropical juice and tropical potential formation. Thursday just sits there. Friday sits there, and then it picks up some little thunderstorms, some little cells there Friday into Saturday, and then Sunday it still sits. Oh, there was a little bit of spinach there Sunday morning. They're calling for on the GFS model. So definitely a lot of juice, a lot of rain. So we're expecting Wednesday night through the weekend a lot of this stuff just kind of sitting over Florida. That was the GFS model. We'll go over to the Euro model because we like looking at both. And it's pretty much the same thing on the Euro model. Monday, Tuesday, it hangs out. Then that frontal boundary comes down, and it just stalls out and sits there, and sits there, and sits there, and just keeps sitting there. So it's going to be interesting. Oh, Euro's actually sniffing an actual formation of a low. That's interesting. That's a depression. 10-15. All right, so Euro's showing a little bit more formation than the GFS model, so we'll have to pay attention. We're seeing some model disagreement there, but nothing crazy. Long story short, we're not going to see a named storm probably, at least according to current forecast, but we are going to see some moderate conditions, more rain, a little bit more waves, and potentially some isolated strong thunderstorms and a lot of rain Wednesday night through the weekend. I don't think it's going to affect 39-hour trips because we can still fish through that, but it might affect some of those 12-hour extreme trips for sure. So it's one of those things we got to hurry up and wait and watch for. Carol Roberts, appreciate those stars. Jason Richmond as well. Ben Yorg, appreciate those stars as well. Lots of star senders hitting us up during our weather update. Appreciate that so much, and appreciate all those supports. All right, so we talked about what we're catching now. We showed you the photos. We talked about the weather. It's about time to get to some of our announcements. First things first, we do have 2 events coming up. 2 in-person events. If you want to come hang out with me, Tuesday, July 1st. That is in 2 days. This Tuesday, not tomorrow, the day after. Tuesday, July 1st, I will be at Finn's Fishing Club in Finn's Apollo Beach. So it's a restaurant over there in Apollo Beach, the south shore of Tampa Bay, and it's a really cool restaurant. They have really great food. Finn's Fishing Club meets there at Finn's restaurant, and this is their 3rd anniversary party, and I'm going to be there speaking, and they have raffles, they have food. It's a really, really cool fishing club. So if you want to come out and join us at Finn's Fishing Club this Tuesday, it's at 7 p.m. Event is at 7 p.m., but a lot of people show up early and get some food, get a good place at the bar, that kind of thing. So come out and join us. There's going to be vendors, raffles, lots of cool stuff going on. Plus, the next event we got going up, remember, every 4th Tuesday of every month, myself, Capt Mike Anderson, will both be at OCC Roadhouse. So join us Tuesday, July 22nd. Mark your calendars. That is going to be a great time. That's 7 to 9 p.m. at OCC Roadhouse, where there's great food, great drinks, and we give away Bull Bay rods, Engel coolers, Real Animals, and Hubbard's Marina swag. It's a great time. So OCC Roadhouse, July 22nd, 7 to 9 p.m. Finn's Fishing Club this Tuesday, July 1st, 7 p.m. So come out and see us at both of those in-person events. Also, we still have that voting going on. If you go over to hubbardsmarina.com, right on the top of hubbardsmarina.com is the click here to vote for Hubbard's Marina's Best of Florida. Definitely don't forget, you can vote daily, I think, until July 23rd. Voting is open. If you scroll down here, under Hunting and Fishing Services is Hubbard's Marina, where you can vote daily. So right on our website, there's a link to make sure you vote daily, because we won the Bestie Award for Best in St. Pete Clearwater. We won Best Charter Boat in the Country by USA Today. We won Best in the Bay. And also, now we want to win Best of Florida as well. So thank you all for all your support, making all of that possible, because we couldn't do it without our amazing Hubbard's Marina fishing family and our supporters like you as well. Yes, the Peter Griffin reference. I'm glad someone picked up on that. That Roadhouse episode with Peter Griffin. Have you seen that, Josh? Yeah, where he's kicking the car. Oh my gosh. So funny. So every time we do an event at OCC Roadhouse, I have to say it like that. Good old Peter Griffin reference. I'm glad someone picked that up. Angie Darling, appreciate those 1,000 stars. Thank you so much. And we also had Daryl Geist on YouTube, right, Josh? Yep. Daryl Geist on YouTube hitting us up as well. Thank you, Daryl. And Grouper Crazy becoming a supporter on YouTube, too. Appreciate y'all on YouTube. All right, so announcement-wise, also season reminder. Remember, Red Grouper is now open all year. We are expecting we know Red Snapper is June 1st through end of day September 15th. On that note, we have adjusted September 14th 39-hour trip. So our 39-hour trips are scheduled every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday from 3 p.m. They come back 2 days later at 6 a.m. But if you fast forward to the end of Red Snapper season, our last Red Snapper trip would leave Sunday, September 14th and get back Tuesday morning on the 16th at 6 a.m. And if that trip got back at 6 a.m. on the 16th, you wouldn't be able to keep Red Snapper because Red Snapper closes at 12:01 a.m. on the 16th. So we have to be back at the dock at midnight on the 15th. So we've changed the September 14th 39-hour trip. It is going to leave at 9 a.m. on Sunday, September 14th. You're going to get out there and start fishing around sunset. You're going to fish all the way through the night and through sunrise and hopefully cap off our Red Snapper limits. And then you're going to head back sometime there Monday morning to make it, or Monday afternoon, early afternoon. So it'll be a unique 39-hour trip because you'll get a lot of night fishing time and a little bit of day fishing time, and a long kind of cruise back, relaxing through the day. You could even troll on the way back in because it'll still be daylight. It would be kind of interesting. And definitely a cool 39-hour option. That is September 14th, and it's only got 28 people on it. So there's 22 open spots, and that will be the last red snapper trip. Potentially it might have gags open. Gag season will open September 1st, and it should be open somewhere between 14 to 20 days. That should have been finalized already. Reminds me, I got to email those guys again and figure out what the heck is going on. Gag email to Noah. Because Noah said back in June that they would be finalizing that season already. And we haven't seen that season finalization email, that press release. So it's got to be coming any day now. But we know it'll be September 1st opener, and it will be somewhere between 14 to 20 days. And there's even a chance that it might be 2 fish, because remember back in April, they said they wanted 1 fish per person for this 2025 gag season. But there is a lot of conversations at that June council meeting that might not be possible. So potentially we'll have gags open September 1st for 14 to 20 days, and potentially it might be 2 fish per person, which would be pretty cool. Definitely exciting stuff. So hopefully you'll get a chance to come out and join us for red snapper, for gags. Remember, amberjack is supposed to be October or September and October, but there's a chance that there won't be a amberjack season because of the potential overage that occurred last year in the quota. Also, the other fish with the season is triggerfish. They're open all year except for January, February, June, and July. So remember, triggerfish are closed June and July, but they'll be open the remainder of the year. So those are the 4 fish with seasons: triggerfish, red snapper, gag grouper, and amberjack. The only other fish was red grouper, had a season, but now we're expecting red grouper to be open all year round. Pretty awesome for sure. With that, I think that is pretty much all of our announcements that we wanted to cover. Other than some news, I am working with the team at Guide Checker. So in all my spare time, we are launching a new business, Guide Checker. It's going to be pretty cool. It's all about empowering guides and not stealing from them. So it's like crowd-funded marketing for small-time guides who don't have marketing budgets. Hubbard's Marina, we're blessed. We've been around for nearly 100 years with a top charter boat in the country for 4 years in a row. Thank you again, guys, for making that possible. And we have a marketing team. Josh over here. We have two full-time film crews. We've got a website guy. We've got SEO. We've got social media. It's a blessing that we're able to work so hard promoting our business. But a lot of businesses, especially these small guide operations that have 1 boat, 1 captain, they only take up to 6 people. They don't have marketing teams. So this is all about trying to help more guides reach more people, and a rising tide raises all boats. So the idea is for every dollar a guide spends, 40 cents goes back to straight up marketing them. So it's a pretty cool business that's all about trying to promote Florida fishing. And it's going to start in Florida and focus on Florida, and we'll kind of see where it goes from there. But if you know a guide, if you are a guide, and you're interested in getting more advertising, check it out, guidechecker.com. Make sure you tell your guide friends. Maybe you do some inshore trips when you're not on the boat with us at Hubbard's Marina. Maybe you know some guides that you go fishing with every now and again. Shoot this over to them, guidechecker.com. I'm pumped. I'm proud to be a part of the team, and it's going to be exciting stuff for sure. So check it out. Also, Josh brought up a good point. There is some new laws going into effect for boaters. July 1st, Governor DeSantis's Florida's Boater Freedom Act gets put into place. And it's pretty interesting. Governor DeSantis talked a lot about this back in February, and it actually becomes law July 1st. Again, Florida's Boater Freedom Act. And essentially, what it does is it changes, I guess, the operation of law enforcement on the water. So you're driving your car down the road. A cop can't get behind you in Florida and just pull you over. He has to have PC, probable cause, some sort of probable cause to pull you over in a vehicle on the road. There has to be a tail light out. You have to have ran a red light. You have to be speeding. You have to have a legal tint. I don't know anybody who does that. But you have to give them a reason to pull you over on the road. On the boats, no such thing. When I was growing up, driving boats around as 8, 9, 10, 12 years old, I got pulled over a lot. So they don't need a reason to pull you over on the water. There's no probable cause requirement. However, now they do. The Florida Boater Freedom Act now requires probable cause in order to do a safety inspection. So they can't just pull you over for any reason because you looked at them or because they were next to you. So it is interesting, but the catch, what a lot of people don't realize is people are so excited about this and, oh yeah, I can go out in the boat and I'm not going to get pulled over unless I give them a reason. You know what they need? A fishing pole. FWC still has unmitigated restriction or unmitigated jurisdiction over harvesting and potential harvest of fish. So if you have outriggers on your boat, if you have a fishing pole in plain view, if you've got fishing paraphernalia, a cast net, a trolling motor, you have tools of harvest, which is probable cause. So FWC still is going to be able to pull you over pretty much for whatever they want to do at any possible time. So yes, it is pretty interesting, and it will keep the sheriff boats off you. Like in our area, God bless the Treasure Island Police Department. They're awesome. They have some really good people over there. Hopefully none of them are listening, but I had a lot of problems with them growing up, man. They have a boat that's out there all the time, and they would, if I saw that black hulled Treasure Island police boat, I knew I was getting pulled over if they were anywhere around me. Now this changes that. They can't do that. If you see a gray hulled FWC boat, you're still going to get pulled over if you got any sort of fishing stuff out, because definitely gives them probable cause. So just so you know. All right. That is our announcements and info. Let's get into your questions. Hopefully you guys have some questions. Remember, if you have a question, you got to drop it in a text to the phone number on the screen. So with that, we'll get into some questions. But before we get into some questions, we got to do our first giveaway of the night. Let's go ahead and do our first giveaway of the night for the 5-hour half day. 5-hour half day. One lucky winner, 2 guests. 5-hour half day goes to Todd Gwynn. Congratulations, Todd, from Dallas, Texas. Awesome, man. Got a 5-hour half day for 2 guests. All right. 5-hour half day, so we're going to do the 10-hour all day next. Let's see who wins that. First question of the night. What do we got? How often, with an occasional use reel, would you recommend changing clear mono? Is it worth tying on fresh top shot to keep your line clear for better presentation? I know the person who answered this, or the person who asked this. They live in Canada, so that helps. I know if you have clear mono on your spinning reel and you leave it in your garage in Florida, you're going to have to change it pretty often, even if you don't use it a lot, because that heat is going to get to that line. If you have clear mono on there, it's really easy to tell that it's getting old because it will start to get more opaque. right? Clear mono should be super clean, clear. You should be able to pull it off. It should be really nice. And you should be able to run your fingers along it, and it should be smooth. Over time, when it gets salty and brittle and sun-baked and hot, and it heats up and cools down, it's going to get more opaque, not less translucent, and you're going to be able to you're not going to be able to see through it as easily. And when you run your fingers down that line, you're going to be able to feel some minor abrasion. That's little cracks in that monofilament. If you start to feel that, it's a good idea to pull some line out. What I always do when I first get out on the boat and I'm rigging my rods, I always pull about 15 to 20 foot of line off, because that line was probably what was getting sun drenched if my reels were sitting out. That's the line that was on the outside that might have had a little bit of salt on it since last time I went fishing. That's the line that probably was getting more stretch and abrasion last time I was fishing. So it's always a good idea to pull about 15, 20, 30 feet of line off every time you go to rig your rod. And if you do that every time, over time, occasional use, your spool will start to get low because you're pulling a bunch of line out every time you fish. And then that's an easy rule of thumb is your spool starts to get low, it's time to strip a bunch off, put a line-to-line knot on there, and add some fresh mono to the top, or flip your spool. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is just every now and again, every 1, 2, 3 years, it's a good idea to replace it. But definitely visually inspect it and then run your fingers across it. Again, every time I go to rig up my rod, I'll pull out 15, 20 feet, and I'll run my fingers across it until it's nice and smooth, and then I'll cut it there, and that's where I start using for that next fishing trip. But if I pull out 15, 20, 30 feet, and I run my fingers across it, and it still kind of looks questionable, it still feels like there's minor abrasions in it, I'll pull out more line. And if I can't get the clean, nice, smooth, clear line, it's time to pull all that line off that reel and start over. What's the difference between a swell and a ground swell? It depends on who you ask. Some people call a swell a ground swell. A ground swell is a different name in like the Caribbean, or in the Pacific or Atlantic. In the Gulf, we don't really get a ground swell unless we have like a hurricane coming into the Gulf, because the Gulf's too shallow and too small. But in the Atlantic, you can have a ground swell, which is just like basically a really, really long wave period where you get like a 4, 5, 6 foot wave with a 10, 12, 15 second period. And it's just like a ground swell because it's like the ground is swelling. That's what I'm led to believe. But again, I'm not a Pacific or Atlantic fisherman, so I can't really speak to it super well. But a ground swell just basically means that you're coming up real slowly and going down real slowly, real long wave periods. Whereas a swell is not a chop, but it's not a ground swell. Maybe it's a 3 foot sea with a 6 second period or 8 second period. Still, both still moving. You're going up and down at a faster rate. That's a swell. But it's not choppy. It's not white capping. White caps, choppy, that's not fun. A swell, not bad. Ground swell, great. Is there a bag limit for beeliners? Yeah, 10 per person per day or 20? Honestly, now I'm going to have to look that one up. What? Yeah, you can get there. All right. Touche. We'll do it with you guys watching. Go to Fishing Trips on our website. Go to Fishing Trips information, Fishing Rules and Regulations. It'll bring you to our Fishing Rules and Regulations website, and you can go to the Fish Rules app. Let's change this to, we got to change location, upper right corner, and make sure it's in the right spot, because I was messing with this, obviously, and it's set to the Atlantic coast. We don't want those regulations. So federal waters in the Gulf, type in vermilion snapper, please, sir. So vermilion snapper, it's 10. That's what I thought. It confuses me because the 39-hour trip gets me. So it's 10 per person per day, 20 on a 39 hours. So, boom. That's what I thought, but I like to double check sometimes, especially when I'm put on the spot. Let's see here. What else do we got? we had a good day with red snapper. What is that next question?
That's for you to answer.
I gotcha. Do you sell goggle eyes? Yes, we do sell goggle eyes, bonita, northern mackerel, which is a Boston mackerel. So yes, we sell goggle eyes. Will mentioned it early on in red snapper season. Someone did really well with the goggle eyes, so we brought them in the shop. Now more people are using them. So we do have goggle eyes. We do have bonita. We do have northern mackerel as well. Let's see here. Next question. Can you post your guys' schedule? Based on our schedule. So we do post the captain and crew schedule in our supporters group every week. But our schedule as far as like what trips we run is on our website. If you go to hubbardsmarina.com, right on our website, you can go to just book now in the upper right corner, and it's going to show you a schedule of what's running when, and it makes it really easy to see what day you want to go. So like you can browse by activity, you can browse by day, so really, really easy to see what's going on. If you go to the website, you can also browse by trip via the website as well. So if you go to the 39-hour page, it's going to show you in the upper right-hand corner what trips or what days have those 39-hour trips. You can click on them and see what's available. So our website for our trips is on our schedule for our trips is on our website. As Josh pops around there. And what was the other question? Oh, about amberjack season. We already talked about amberjack season. It's supposed to be open all of September and October, but there's a chance that it may not be open because of that quota overage. How do I enter your contest on Facebook? All you have to do is comment. Comment and you're entered for the contest. You have to watch the entire show live. You have to comment once on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. Then stay tuned, because if you're picked as a lucky winner, your name will come up on the screen. We'll announce your name, and you got 5 minutes or less to text us your full home address to the phone number on the screen. That's how it works. Has Red Grouper officially been extended? Yes, it was in June. We announced that on YouTube and in our live shows. Red Grouper is officially extended, should be open all year. How many people are usually on the 39-hour trip? Generally in June, full or close to full. So we've been averaging 40, 45, 50 people. Generally, Friday trips are more busy. Tuesday trips are a little less busy. Sunday trips are lighter. And as we move into July, trips get less full. So we'll probably be averaging closer to 40 on the Tuesday trips, maybe 35, 40 on the Sunday trips. Friday trips still pretty busy even through July. August gets really, really, really less busy. Sunday trips have 15, 20, 25 people. Tuesday trips have 20, 25, 30 people. Friday trips still closer to full, 40, 45. September, that first week of September is completely sold out. There's a few spots left the second week of September, but they're filling up fast because gags are going to be open for a very short amount of time. If you could only take one rod and reel on the 39-hour trip, what would it be? A Hubbard's Marina Bull Bay rod, because we custom built those for our style of offshore deep sea fishing. So I really like our custom built Bull Bay rods. Nice long butt grip to get that reel out away from you, which gives you, remember, if your reel is further from you, when you go to start cranking, you have more leverage. Some of these offshore rods I see people bring, they've got a really short butt grip. That means your reel is going to be really close to you. So when you start going to crank, you're not fully extending your arm. The more you can extend your arm, the greater the leverage. Your lever is better. So the physics is going to be exponentially better. So I like a longer butt so I can get that reel away from me and get better leverage on the reel. So our custom Hubbard's Marina Bull Bay rods are the best in my opinion because I got to build them to my specs. Also, they have a bigger foregrip in front of the reel, so that way if you get a big fish, you can put that foam on the rail and you don't need that silly foam noodle that some people like. And then also, it's got a really good backbone and a soft, sensitive tip. So I can fight a 20-pound red snapper, a 35-pound gag, and a nice big red grouper or scamp grouper, but I can still feel an 8-inch lane snapper bite it because it's got such great sensitivity, but a good backbone. And then reel-wise, Daiwa Saltiga LD50. Nice middle of the road. Not the big 60, not the small 25. Middle of the road, like LD 40, 45, 50. I like Daiwa Saltiga's. Shimano Talica is great. Accurate makes some really great reels. Avet makes some really great reels. Okuma makes some pretty awesome stuff as well. I don't love Penn, but Penn makes some decent stuff for those who like it. But yeah, I think Daiwa Saltiga LD50 would be my personal choice, 2-speed, and that Hubbard's Marina Bull Bay rod. And I'm going to have, if I only have one rod and reel, it's going to be a 30 to 80 rod, that Saltiga LD50 2-speed with 40 pounds of drag. I'm going to have probably 50, 60 pound main line, and I'm going to be fishing a 40 pound leader at night, 40, 50 pound leader at night. During the day, I'm going to be fishing a 60 pound leader, but if I'm dropping a big bait, big dead bait, I'd be using an 80 or maybe even a 100 pound leader, a bigger hook. That's my go-to. But I'm never going to bring just one rod. I can't. It's against my religion. I'm going to bring on a 39-hour probably 3 or 4 rods. One jigging rod, because that's just, you got to. It's a lot of fun. One smaller rod, probably an LD, Daiwa Saltiga LD 30 or 35 with 40 pound or 50 pound main line and fishing 30, 40, 50 pound leaders. Daiwa LD 50 with 50, 60 pound, 50, 60, 80 pound leaders, and then a big reel, maybe one of my beefed up 9/0 or an LD 60, something with 50 pounds of drag, 80 pound main line or 100 pound main line, so I can drop down 100 or 125 pound leader and a big bait and a big hook for a big fish. So kind of small, medium, large. That way you can use a different rod for each species. A lot of people get tripped up on that. They're coming out for the first time. They're like, well, if I rent a rod, are you going to give me 3 rods? Because you talk about needing a small, medium, heavy. Advanced anglers, if you're investing in that tackle, advanced anglers are going to have a different rod for each species they're going to target. That way you don't have to switch out leaders and you can kind of grab and go if something happens or you see a fish come up. But if you just go out there with one rod, you can pull it off. But you just have to switch out leaders. So it's up to you. How far do I need to run offshore to catch tuna? Right now, this time of year, pretty far. Tuna, blackfin tuna is what we catch in our area, and blackfin tuna like a little cooler water. Winter time, we can catch them a little shallower sometimes if the currents get right. Spring and fall, we can get them pretty shallow if the bait comes in and that water temp is okay. Summertime, they're pretty much almost always caught 120 foot of water or more. I have a friend who's in a wheelchair that wants to go on a 5 or 10 hour trip. Do you accommodate wheelchairs? So we are very wheelchair friendly, not wheelchair accessible. Remember, we're U.S. Coast Guard inspected vessels. So if you want to take more than 6 people out, you want to take 7 people offshore or more, you have to have a Coast Guard inspection certificate of inspection. And the Coast Guard mandates that these boats are built in such a way that we have MTWBs, main transverse watertight bulkheads. We have to have heavy metal watertight locking doors. We have to have 6-inch raised thresholds. We have to have sealable areas, so that way essentially we could put a 6-foot wide hole in the side of the boat and it's not going to sink if everything is operating properly, because you can isolate that area of the vessel with these MTWBs, heavy metal watertight locking doors, these heavy hatches, and you can isolate areas if they are filling the void with water. with pumps and all that good stuff, and through hulls, and you close different seacocks or valves. So it's pretty interesting the way Coast Guard regulates things. A lot of regulations, very difficult to do, but it makes people safer offshore, which is important. But it also makes our boats impossible to navigate via a wheelchair. So if you're someone who is in a wheelchair who wants to go fishing, we're always very wheelchair friendly, but not wheelchair accessible. So we try to work with people and certain situations, certain trips, certain times of year, certain nice weather. If they're a willing participant and they have a group with them who's willing to help, we can a lot of times make that happen. But if it's, it just depends. It is the easiest way to put that is it depends. We're not wheelchair accessible. We're not ADA approved, but we're very wheelchair friendly. We do know a guy now, though. There's a guy in Tampa Bay that does wheelchair accessible fishing. It's pretty interesting. His name is Captain Eli. I forget the name of his. I just talked about this. Wasn't it like Wrecker something, Josh? I sent it to you, didn't I?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Oh, there it is. Captain Eli Rico, Hot Shot Guide Services. That's it. Captain Eli Rico, Hot Shot Guide Service. He has a special custom-built vessel that is specifically designed to take wheelchair-bound anglers fishing. So, pretty cool. Next question. What do we got? Do you lose a lot of terminal gear to big Goliaths? Occasionally, if we get into areas with Goliath grouper, we can definitely lose some terminal tackle. But we don't see a ton of them offshore. It's mostly near shore we run into that. Let's see.
TLDR in New York, they do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
They can stop your boat.
What does TLDR mean?
Too long didn't read.
Oh. You have so many of these little acronyms that I don't understand sometimes. Too long didn't read. All right, got it.
TLDR, like if you see it, too long didn't read. It's just an abbreviation.
I feel like a lot of people feel that about me and my messages.
I almost put TLDRs on all of the quick steps in the website.
All right, what else we got? Will more comments oh, that's a good question. So if I comment more often on the Facebook Live, will I increase my odds of winning a trip? Absolutely not. So all you have to do is comment once on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream, and you're entered for a chance to win. So the random name picker we use filters out duplicative comments. So all you have to do is comment once, you're entered for a chance to win, and you have the same chance to win as someone who might comment 20 times. But remember, it does help us if you comment a lot. It does help us if you like the stream or give the stream a thumbs up, if you share the stream, if you tag your friends. That helps us. And we always appreciate you trying to help share the message, share the love, spread the show. Definitely helpful. Is it right to brine bonita strips for the ride out? You don't need to brine the bonita strips, no. You can. Do you have to? No. It works well without it. In 55 to 60 foot of water this time of year, what's the optimal bait for red grouper? Going deeper. This time of year, water is so hot. In 55 to 60 foot of water, you can catch red grouper, but a majority of them are going to be small. Near shore fishing right now, and near shore to us is about 100 foot of water or less. If you're fishing near shore, you got to be out there 70, 80, 90 foot, 100 foot. You start to have a better chance for some of those keeper red grouper. Deeper you go, the cooler the water, the bigger the bait, the better the chance for a keeper red grouper. You're still going to have to sort through some smaller fish to get to that keeper red grouper, but definitely helps getting a little bit deeper out there. Best bait for them, big dead baits. So that guy who caught The 24-pound red snapper on the 39-hour that got back, I talked to him. He got that 24-pound red snapper on a big live pinfish he bought from Hubbard's. He got the 15-pound jackpot-winning red grouper on a squid strip and a thread fin. So the old smorgasbord, one of my red grouper favorites. Take a whole thread fin, cut the tail, take about a 4 to 6 inch strip of squid that's maybe half an inch wide. That's a red grouper killer. The old smorgasbord, they like it. On the 12-hour night trip, can we bring a headlamp? Yes, as long as you remember to point it down. Because I remember working the 12-hour night trip as a deckhand in my younger years. And I would always get frustrated. You get the guy who's wearing the headlamp and he's got it pointed straight out. So when he turns to look at you, it blinds you. It's not cool, bro. Not cool. So if you got a headlamp, just be conscientious of everybody else and make sure you point it down. So that way it can help you while you're trying to tie a knot and look at your reel, that kind of thing. But you don't really need a headlamp too, right? Because if you're fishing around the sides of the boat, back of the boat, there's plenty of light. When you're in the very tippy bow, it can be a little dark up there. So if you're tippy bow, you might need a headlamp. But for the most part, you don't need a headlamp. Went out Saturday. Everything less than 120 foot took 1 to 2 pounds of weight. Oh, everything greater than 120 foot took 1 to 2 pound of weight to hold bottom. Is there a better way to read or plan for potential current? No. Not unless you're willing to pay. Pay a great deal as well. Rip Charts has a current thing. Roff's Charts, ROFFS. There's also Hilton Mapping, Tom Hilton Mapping. Those are the three that I know and have used to see offshore currents, but they are all extremely expensive. And most of them you have to access prior to leaving, unless you have website service or internet service offshore through like Starlink. You're looking at that stuff before you leave, and sometimes it can change, especially on like a 39-hour trip. It can change a lot during the course of that 39-hour trip. So tough for sure. Yes, someone mentioned deodorant. For the love of all things holy. I was at an event recently, and someone could have used that. In the gym, sometimes I run across people that can use that. When you're fishing, definitely need that. Deodorant's good for everybody in all circumstances. Good reminder, someone. Is it illegal to butterfly beeliners? Yes. Technically, anything that is got a bag limit or a size limit, you cannot use for bait. Mike Mahoney was at our OCC event this past week when we had it there, June 24th, and he said it's all about what you tell them, and you can't tell on yourself, because he had some explanation on why it was could be done. I don't remember it, because I tune him out a lot when he starts talking like that. But yes, according to black and white regulations, anything with a size limit or bag limit, specifically what the regulation says is if it's included in the FMP, the Fishery Management Plan, FMP, it cannot be used for bait. So yellowtail, vermilion, anything with a size limit or bag limit can't use for bait legally. All right. Now it's time to give away a 10-hour all-day trip. 10-hour all-day trip. One lucky winner. 2 guests for the 10-hour all-day goes to, if I can hit the right button, Derek Gossier from Fort Lauderdale. Congrats, Derek. Saw Sean on this last 39-hour. Congrats to you, Derek. All right. Let's see what else we got. Do you allow cigar smoking on any of your trips? So on our shorter trips, 5-hour trips that are family-friendly beginning angler trips, we're a little bit more strict about smoking. We ask that you wait till the engines are on and the boat's moving, and you do so at the back. If you're on longer range trips, more experienced angler trips, a little bit more people are smokers. And we're a little less strict about the smoking. You still have to smoke outside. We still ask that you wait till the engines are on and the boat's moving. But some people will smoke while the boat's stopped. Cigars are pretty smelly, so just be courteous to those around you. I like cigars, and I like cigar smoke. My father and grandfather are cigar smokers, so I grew up with it. So it doesn't bother me. But cigarette smoke bothers me. If someone's smoking a cigarette by me, I'm definitely going to move away a little bit. But if someone's smoking a cigar next to me, I like that smell. Something nostalgic about it. And I like cigars every now and again myself, but they can definitely frustrate people. So just be courteous to those around you. And if you're someone who is bothered by cigarette or cigar smoke and you're going on a 39-hour trip, remember there's going to be smokers out there. So it's always wise to move up closer to the bow if you're more conscientious of that. Like I just said, I'm bothered by cigarette smoke. I like fishing in the very tippy bow because I'm away from other people. There's more room up there. Not as many people. Everybody thinks the back of the boat's the best. So a lot of times you end up with some people back there who really, maybe they're newer. Maybe they don't know fishing as much. So I don't like fishing anywhere close, remotely close to the back of the boat. Always front quarter of the boat is where I'm going to be. And you get more fresh air up there because remember, we're always putting the anchor into the wind. So if you're putting the anchor into the wind, that means the people towards the front of the boat never going to have cigarette smoke, diesel exhaust, kitchen fumes. You're just getting fresh air, baby. Fresh sea air. Love it. Do your captains fish the same spots or do they all have their own numbers? It depends. Newer guys, we all try to help out. Guys that have been out there a while all have their own stuff, but we all started somewhere. So we have same general areas, and we share information among our teams, some more than others. Some listen more than others. Others like forging their own paths, a little harder head. It depends. Every captain's different, but I would say 99% of the time, captains are fishing their own spots, their own areas, stuff they found themselves. They all have their own style, and it's cool because we're not a one single operation, right? We don't have this captain. We have those captains. And so we have so many different guys and gals and team members that every trip's a little bit different. You can find the people you like, you can follow them around, or you could try a bunch of different captains and find who you like, or maybe you like them all. You never know. So different style of fishing. And not every day is the best day of fishing too. So it's comical to me. Just recently, we had a guest came into my office and was like, "Hey, today was really tough. It seemed like the captain didn't know what he was doing. It seems like he's still learning." And he was talking about one of the most experienced captains we have, who just had a really tough day. It was the fish didn't cooperate. And then he went on to say, "I really like the captain I had last time. He was really, really good." And that captain was one of our newer captains that didn't have as much experience. But in this guest's mind, that captain was better because he liked his style better, right? And he happened to have a little bit better day of fishing. It's not that one captain was better than the other. One was much more experienced than the other. But this guy actually liked the guy who had less experience just because he happened to have a little bit better day than with him fishing. Because sometimes fishing is fishing, right? So everybody's got their own style, their own approach, and you got to come out and try it. See who you like or what you get dialed into, right? But I think we're very blessed with our entire team is really, really good. Someone said they called and asked if we sell goggle eyes, and someone told me no. Well, we're not all perfect. Sometimes we make mistakes, and appreciate the heads up. We'll make sure we tell our staff. But the ladies who answer the phone, guys, you have to remember, guys and gals, the ladies who answer the phone at Hubbard's Marina, they are saints. That is an incredibly hard job because they get asked, what size lead do I use on this trip? What size hook do I use on this trip? What do you catch in August? What do you catch when the sun is halfway up, the moon is full, and there's a screaming tide out of the south, and my captain's name starts with a W, and it's 52 degrees outside. We get these kind of questions all day. And what bait do you sell? And what fish does Don's Dock have? And what color is this shop over in John's Pass? And what's the phone number to this restaurant? It's crazy, the volume of questions, the volume of calls, the volume of people that go through that office. And those ladies handle it all. So am I surprised that someone maybe misspoke and said we don't sell goggle eyes? I'm not surprised. We all make mistakes. And those ladies who answer the phones have so much information they have to try to retain and relay. So I apologize that you got some misinformation, but appreciate you letting us know so we can address it. And we'll get better, as we continue to do all the time. All right, what else we got? Someone said, is there noticeable differences in the taste of different brands of hard ciders? That was a dig at Captain Mike Anderson. So, Mike, we went to OCC Roadhouse, and it's me, Mike Anderson, Mike Mahoney, and one of Mahoney's buddies at a table. And the waitress comes over and asks us what food we want. We're getting ready to do the seminar, and do we want something to drink? So Anderson looks at her, and he goes, you guys have Angry Orchard? I was taken aback, mouth agape. I was like, that's what you're going to go with, huh? Table full of dudes getting ready for a fishing seminar, just hard cider came to mind. But yeah, that continued on to the Saturday radio show where I was poking fun at him maybe a little bit too much about that. And it was a good time, so appreciate the comment there. That was funny. Mike didn't call in tonight because he's on a annual family trip. He goes and visits some St. Pete beach hotels. So he's chilling on the beach, drinking a lot of hard ciders, Angry Orchards, this week out there on the beach. Hopefully he doesn't get too much rain. Kind of bummed him out this last Saturday morning when we were talking on the radio show about how it's going to be potentially a rainy 4th of July. All right. Do any of the restaurants in John's Pass offer cook your catch after the trips? Yes. Hubbard's Marina, Friendly Fisherman. So the Friendly Fisherman seafood restaurant next door to Hubbard's Marina is our family's restaurant. So Hubbard's family, my father is the youngest of 8 children. The family, his brothers and sisters, they still own the Friendly Fisherman. So the family, the last thing the Hubbard's family owns is the Friendly Fisherman. Hubbard's Marina, the fishing boats, and Hubbard's Sea Adventures, which is our dolphin boats, pleasure boats, and Hubbard's Ferry, which is our ferry operations. Those 3 businesses, Hubbard's Ferry and Hubbard's Sea Adventure, were started by my father. Hubbard's Marina, the fishing boat business, was bought in 2006 by my father from the family. So those 3 businesses my father is technically the majority owner on paper for now. And love you, Dad. And I am involved in those 3 businesses. The Friendly Fisherman is owned by the family and now is more actively managed by the family. So my father is actually actively involved in more day-to-day operations over the Friendly Fisherman, but they hired a great general manager and he's doing a good job. So the Friendly Fisherman is managed by Hubbard's Marina, you could say, by the Hubbard's family, but not my circus, not my monkeys specifically, but we are very much more closely partnered than ever before. And one exciting thing, I'm going to talk about this because I want it to happen. And now I have a little bit more say-so over there at the Friendly Fisherman. So you guys have been to the Friendly Fisherman, hopefully, with your fish after trips, right? At the Friendly Fisherman, they offer to broil, blacken, regular fry, or Cajun fry your fish. And if you haven't been to the Friendly Fisherman for some Cajun fried fish after a trip, you are missing out. It is crazy. You get off the boat, you get your fish filleted up by the guys, you walk down the dock to the waterfront restaurant, cold beer or iced whiskey, or no iced whiskey, just maybe chilled, and a platter of freshly fried, Cajun fried snapper. Killer. Cajun, blackened is really good too. some of those dynamite shrimp, some other appetizers. Maybe they have really good fish spread there, oysters. But I've always wanted some other options because I've grown up eating Cajun fried, blackened, broiled, regular fried. I've had so much cooked fish over there. Very blessed. I've been asking, let's do a premium option. So it's, I think, $12.95, I want to say, if you bring your fish over to the Friendly Fisherman and have them cooked up fresh after your trip. $12.95, you can't beat that. I'm asking them, let's do a premium option. Maybe make it $5 more. Maybe make it $17. But you bring them some fresh fish, and they make you some they have these red snapper tacos over there, which is like a little taco, and it's got a couple pieces of red snapper in it, and then it's like a mango salsa chutney on top of it with some like crazy, I don't even know what's in it, but it is fire. And I don't even like red snapper. It's like the dumbest fish in the Gulf, and it tastes crappy, and it's still really good. Just kidding. I have to do my red snapper tirade at least once a show. But these red snapper tacos are killer at the Friendly Fisherman, and it would be so cool and taste way better if you brought your fresh caught gray snapper grunts over there, or your mangrove snapper and did some mango chutney salsa tacos with your fresh caught fish, or like, I don't know. There's so many different things we could do, but my mouth is watering and I've gone down a rabbit trail. But it would be really cool to see some premium options, I think. Plus, I think it'd be cool just for me from a selfish standpoint, because Cajun fried, regular, or broiled and blackened has been the four things that we've had since the beginning of time. Let's try it out. Let's try some new stuff. So, I've asked, I've told you guys, so now you can ask too. We'll all put peer pressure on them. Change it up. All right. We gave away our 10-hour, right? We got time for one more question. Well, let's end it on another question. Do we have any more questions? If I watch on YouTube, do I qualify? Yeah, you can watch on YouTube. You just got to comment once on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. You can watch on Instagram, YouTube, Trovo, Twitch, Twitter. We stream into a bunch of different platforms. But you have to comment once on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream in order to be entered. What about using live lobster for big caberas? Kind of a gray area. People do it a lot. But, yeah, I don't know the legality behind it. I know, like, Maine lobster, you're not going to get in trouble for, because obviously you didn't catch that in the Gulf. Florida spiny lobster, you could probably potentially get into a little bit of a gray area. We use slipper lobster a lot, which aren't as closely regulated. That's a good idea. Do I need a conventional reel for a shark trip? No, if you do our shark trip, we provide the rods and reels. You don't need a rod and reel. Is December a good month for catching yellowtail snapper? If you go out deep on a 12-hour stream, 39-hour, 44 hours, where we see a lot of yellowtails, we see them a lot, pretty much all year round. It depends on where we're fishing and what we're fishing for. We see more yellowtails in the winter because we don't have red snapper. We're not chasing those red snapper around, so we can kind of focus on the mangroves, and then we throw in some yellowtail spots as well. Why are less people booking August 39-hour trips? Because people are silly. Supply and demand, baby. It is the same thing every year. So there's actually huge academic studies and a lot of money going behind this. As demand increases, or as supply increases, demand drops. So when red snapper season was 3 days, 10 days, 16 days, 30 days, everybody and their brother all wanted to go fishing for red snapper as many times as they can during that short season. It didn't matter if the weather was 10 foot, people were going fishing. It created a derby style fishing, low supply, extremely high demand. As the season for red snapper has gotten longer and longer and longer and longer, Supplies increased, demand drops exponentially. The first 2 weeks of July, everybody and their brother wants to go out and catch a red snapper. Then the third week of June, the first 2 weeks of June, everybody and their brother wants to go out and catch a red snapper. I gotta go first week of June. The June 1st 39-hour trip is sold out. How am I gonna survive? I can't tell you how many times I hear that. January, February, March. And then it rolls around to June. It's like, dude, the better fishing this month has been the last couple trips, the end of June. Same thing last year. We had kind of a tough start to June, and it actually got better fishing towards the end of June. We're experiencing the same thing this year. But for some reason, when that season opens, demand spikes through the roof because people haven't been able to fish for red snapper since last summer. So like everybody is like, oh my God, there's a red snapper. I got to go kill one. So I don't know why, but every year it's always the same. Demand spikes as soon as that supply opens. Once the supply stays opened, the demand starts to steeply fall off. So June is chaos. July is like, red snapper. August, people are like, I don't care about red snapper. They all finally start to join my team in August. So it's interesting, and there's no other reason for it because we still catch a lot of good fish. Maybe it's a little bit warmer. I've heard some people say that, and that's maybe an argument I can agree with, but hey, we've got air-conditioned enclosed cabins on the 39 hours, so does it really matter? And how much hotter is it than at end of June? Early July. It's not that much hotter in August, offshore at least. On the coast, I can see you making an argument for it being much hotter. But offshore, it's not that much hotter, and fishing's still really good, and there's less people. If I had the choice between going on a trip the first 3 weeks of June with 50 people, or a trip in the beginning of August with 25 people, half full, I'm going to go in August. But hey, that's me. All right. Let's do a 39-hour giveaway. Let's find out who wins a free 39-hour trip. Because then you can use it in October or November where our trips are always half full, 25, 30, 40 people. Much more room. And it will be cooler as well. And no red snapper chaos, which is great. All right. Let's see who won a 39-hour trip for one lucky winner. But before we give that away, we want to give a shout out to our friends over at Innovative Pools and Spa. And we want to remind you to join us Tuesday night, July 1st at Finn's Fishing Club, 7 p.m. over in Apollo Beach. We want to remind you to join us next week for our live stream show every Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. It's a ton of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. And hopefully you'll tell your friends about this as well. Innovative Pools and Spa is our friends over there in the Tampa Bay area. They have 35 years of experience building pools in the Tampa Bay area, and they're recognized as a top pool builder in the area for the last 3 decades. Plus, they continue to raise the bar in pool construction, design, and features. They have an unparalleled passion for the industry. Call them today at 727-788-1650 or visit them online at innovativepoolsandspa.net to find out why Innovative Pools and Spa is a top choice for families in our community. So hopefully you get a chance to come out and join us for some fishing. If you're too busy to go fishing, you can always come down to Don's Dock and get your fresh seafood at the Don's Dock Seafood Market where we sell fresh caught grouper, snapper. We've got clams, oysters, shrimp, so much fresh seafood at the Don's Dock Seafood Market. So hopefully you're not just too busy to go fishing, but if you are, we got a solution for that too at Hubbard's Marina. Plus, did you know we do dolphin tours, island trips, shelling trips, sunset cruises? We do ash scattering trips, memorial trips. We do island pleasure cruises. We've got it all at Hubbard's Marina besides just fishing. Plus, we have private charters. You can customize something for a bachelor party, for an engagement party, team building, corporate event, whatever you want to do out there on the water. We've got a trip for you and your family to go out and have some fun. So hopefully we'll see you sometime soon at Hubbard's Marina out there on the water. Josh, what time is the supporters after show, buddy? 8:50. If you're in our supporters group, private supporters after show starts in our private supporters club at 8:50. So we'll see you at 8:50 in the supporters group. We'll see you next week for another live stream show at 7:30 p.m. Thanks for being a part of our Hubbard's Marina family. Love you guys. Have a good night. We're out. What? Oh. Gotcha. Thanks, Josh. Forgot the giveaway again. I'm really good at wrapping up, man. I start my wrap up, and it's hard to pull it back. Once the button's been pushed, Josh. Let's see who won a 39-hour trip for one lucky winner. Winner is... Oh, Angel Perez. Congrats, Angel. Talk about a deserving winner. Great person. Very, like I think she's our like VIP supporter. Big time. Hard-working lady. Always reminding us to vote. So big shout out to Angel and congrats on your 39-hour win. We'll see you guys next week. We're out.